Good morning, ATD family. We are back on Saturday. Made sure we had this done today and not tomorrow, so you guys could have your regularly scheduled programming. But we are here. This is episode 110 of ATD Grand Slam Sam Baseball Bill, bringing you all the sports knowledge from what's been happening throughout the week. Exciting episode. Going to talk about Mr. 3000 for 2025 and a little bit of sensitiveness
Yeah,
around some things going on. We're going to start this off as we always do. Baseball Bill, how are you doing on this beautiful Saturday morning?
I'm doing wonderful. And I want to mention the reason why Sam decided that he wanted to list out the episodes was it's super cool. I think that's wonderful. But what he did is he realized that 110 was the same amount of games back the Giants have been over the last three seasons to the Dodgers in first place. He added all three of them up. It's like 110 games. So he said,
He
this is
had to
too
bring it.
much
He
coincidence.
had to throw some shade in there, and it has not been 110 games we have been back in the last
I'm
three
sorry,
seasons.
108. My bad. Anyway, Sam, I'm doing wonderful. I love recording with you. So let's get it on today. We got a lot to talk about.
We do. We first and foremost, as always, have to thank our sponsors because they let us do what we love to do every week and bring you the best baseball knowledge out there. First and foremost, Handel's Ice Cream, some of the best out there across the country. But we really, really, really appreciate the Handles down in Southern California who really give us the opportunity to have some of the best ice cream around with 8 different locations all across SoCal. Um, Bill, the pizza store. You know that there.
Listen, I was there on Thursday night. I was there on Thursday night, Sam. They have a $15 large cheese pizza on Thursday nights. Amber and I stopped, got a large pizza. It was phenomenal. I'm telling you right now, Sam, I cannot wait until you get to SoCal again because I got some places to take you.
I can't wait. I mean, if you're gonna take me there, you're gonna have to take me to the place right next door, the tap room for the OC.
It's not right next door. It's about 2 miles away. But yeah, I will definitely do that. That's where
Close
I
enough.
watched. That's where I watched America's team beat the Yankees for Game One and Game Three of the World Series last year.
I gotcha. Well, the OC Tap Room down there in Orange County,
Yep.
um, pizza store by OC, as well as Handles. Thank you so much for doing what you do and sponsoring TFR and ATD to allow us to bring all of the baseball fans out there some of the best baseball stats across the league. Let's talk about some standings, and I will take the AL this week because we have a new leader in the East. The Yankees have officially been dethroned. They got their butts handed to them. The,
Yep.
the Yankees just got destroyed in that 4 game set against the Blue Jays, who are now 50 and 38, 8 and 2 in their last 10. Rays are right there holding on strong, tied for second place with the Yankees. Red Sox are picking some things up, but 4 and 6 in their last 10. And Orioles, I had higher hopes, but starting to look like a see you next year type of situation for them. Over in Baltimore, I think they're getting ready for some football down there in Crab Country. Moving over to the Central, the Tigers are still a dominating force to be reckoned with. There is nothing stopping them. All these other teams are just praying to God that well, 3 of the 4 teams are praying to God that they can get a wild card spot at this point. Because right now, the only team that would be representing in the in the postseason for the Central would be the Tigers. Twins 42 and 46, Royals 42 and 47, Guardians 40 and 46, and White Sox. See you next year. 25 and a half games back. When we look at the West, the Astros are really now starting to take a commanding lead. Um, 7 game differential between first and second. Astros are 53 and 35, Mariners 46 and 42. Angels and Rangers are right there on the cusp of being tied, half a game differential between the two, and the Athletics 17 games out. I think it's close to the time of saying see you next year for them. They're really, again, waiting to move to Vegas to showcase what they can do. Bill, give me your thoughts.
So Blue Jays are playing very, very well. Yankees don't need to be in panic mode yet, but I know Yankee fans are losing their crap and they're basically in panic mode. The Rays have been playing very good baseball now. Last couple of days they've slipped a little bit, but they've been playing very good baseball. They are tied with the Yankees for the same record. Nobody would have thunk that. Um, I didn't realize that Baltimore had a football team. I guess I haven't heard much about them. I don't think they're very good. Sam, do they have a team in Baltimore?
Do they have a team in Baltimore?
I'm just joking because I know Sam's a Ravens fan. Everybody, I'm not
We
that
start to,
dumb.
if we take ATD to the football side,
Giddy up.
my team compared to your team, I think we'd be in
Oh, I
different
haven't had anything to
positions.
cheer about in 10 years,
Yeah,
15
well,
years.
we'd have much different positions based on
Mhm.
from football to
For baseball.
baseball to football.
Yep,
You'd be in the position I'm in baseball world, and I'd be in your position in football world.
probably. Tigers are doing well. And then everybody's under 500 in the rest of that division. Uh, Cal Riley is carrying the Mariners right now. The Angels fan base is losing their mind because they'll get to 500 and then they drop below 500. They get to 500 and they drop below 500. When you look at the wild card, though, the Angels still have a shot only because, right now, if the season were to end today, the Yankees, Rays, and Mariners would be your wild cards. Boston and the Angels would miss it by a game or two, but it's only because the Central has gone from the best division in the American League last year, where they had a number of teams representing that division in the playoffs, to the worst. I have no idea what's happening in Arlington. I've been trying to get a little bit of a vibe for that. I can't figure it out. And the A's are just, they're homeless, right? They know they're playing in Sacramento this year and next year, but the A's are doing A's things. So there's the
Yeah,
West. There's the American League.
that it is. That it is. Take me to the NL.
Love to. Phillies are doing Philly things, although the Phillies have slowed down a bit. The Mets are kind of going back and forth. They both have over 50 wins, which is great. Marlins are 8-2 in their last 10, which I think is incredible. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you see that we're showing Marlins Park right now. If you're listening to this on Bleacher Brothers, go over to YouTube, check it out. Braves are in panic mode. They know they're in panic mode. They have a lot going on. Nationals are a really good team. By the way, I also want to say something about the White Sox. The White Sox and the Nationals are really good teams. Their records don't display it, but watch over the next couple of seasons. James Wood is really, really, really good, and he's going to participate in the home run derby. The Cubs have a plus minus differential of like plus 9,000. They just keep scoring runs at will. They're opening up a lead against the Brewers and the Cardinals. The Reds, 6-4. Pay attention to them. The Rockies, I am so sorry, Rockies. There's a good chance that the Rockies could have 72 losses by the All-Star break. That's just awful. When the when the Rockies won Game 20, the Houston fans were not excited about that. I can't figure out what's going on in Arizona. The Giants and the Padres have taken a step back. I don't know if it's just dog days of summer, if it's injuries. There's a lot of things that could be looked at for both of those clubs. And then the Dodgers, America's team, they're just kind of rolling 8-2. They're doing it with a lot of their starting pitching on the IL. And Dave Roberts has played the chess game very, very well. They had a couple of weeks there where they had a couple of games with the Giants, 7 games with the Padres, and they still managed to come into that pretty good. Now they're hitting some teams that, the White Sox, the Rockies that should be beat. They're playing the Astros this weekend, so that'll be fun.
Yeah,
Sam, take
no,
me through it.
yeah, no. I mean, Phillies and Mets right now are just bouncing back and forth between first and second. Those two teams are going to keep battling up until I think the last game of the season. That's where it's going to get decided between those two. I have no doubt in my mind about it. But Marlins, man, these guys have been on fire in the last like 3 weeks.
Hmm.
Like, just kicked it into another gear. No idea what it's been. I guess something with the water down there. I mean, usually you don't want to drink the water in Miami, but I guess they are, and it's bringing them luck.
Yep.
Um, when you look at the Central, I mean, yeah, it's 119 runs scored to a runs allowed. Oh, I'm sorry, 117 runs scored to a runs allowed differential. So, these guys are just cranking it every time they get up the plate. You can't stop them. It's just incredible to see. Brewers and Cardinals, though, keep an eye on these guys. Right now, the Brewers are 1.5 games up in the wild card picture. The Cardinals are a game back, tied with the Giants for a game back in the wild card picture. So this wild card picture is going to start being the thing to watch as we move into the second half of the season and
Agree.
some of the leaders start to really move away with it. Um, but I am always the biggest advocate for the wild card teams being the biggest thorn in some of these leaders' sides as we get to the end of the season and even into the playoffs. Bill, you can attest to this. We have seen wild card teams come out and really just put on a clinic against some of these leaders when we get
Yeah.
into the postseason and just shock the system.
Yeah.
Um, so watch what wild card teams start to get hot going into the end of July after the trade deadline, which we'll start talking more about next week,
Yep.
and going into August, September timeframe. Because the
Yeah.
team that gets hot, I say it year in and year out, is the team you don't want to face in the postseason. You
Of
don't.
course. Of course. That's
Absolutely not.
I agree completely with you.
And then when you look at the West, Dodgers are doing what we expected them to do. Starting to run away with it. The Padres, the Giants, the D-backs, they're all outside of that six game window that you wanted to stay within. Now again, players are going to start coming back from injuries. We get into the dog days of summer. They're out of the window, but the window can get closed very quickly depending on who starts to come back and how they start to play. Dodgers go on a 3 game loss streak. Padres or Giants go on a 3 game win streak. Changes the entire view of how you look at the West. So while I'm not counting these teams out yet, it's starting to look more as a wild card spot than a leaderboard spot. But again, anything could change as players start to come back.
So
Um,
what's interesting about this, Sam, is when you're looking at these standings and you're really diving deep into it, you have effectively six teams that are right there in the wild card spot. So right now, if the season ended today, it would be Mets, Brewers, Padres, and the Giants, Cardinals, and Reds would all miss out. Now, granted, the Giants have played two more games than the Padres, so but right now that's the way it would look. But when you look at it, the Cardinals, Brewers, I'm sorry, the Cardinals, Reds, and Giants are all at the cusp. And frankly, you can't really count out Arizona, even though they have a losing record right now. So technically, out of the 15 teams in the National League, you have 10 of them that could be in the playoffs.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, you got the Giants, the Cardinals, and the Reds all within 2 games of getting back into the wild card picture. Um, I mean, the Mets have a 3 game lead in the wild card, so kind of, unless something drastic happens, like Juan Soto breaks his leg, going to be very difficult to see someone knocking them out of it.
Yep,
But the Brewers and the Padres, they need to mind their P's and Q's. They
yep,
just do.
100%.
Let's take a look at the injury report. The big one that there's two big ones on here that I'm going to call out. Max Muncy. I called this out on Thursday on ITL, and my prediction was right. It's a bad bone bruise. I was wrong on the timeline. It was 6 weeks, not 4 weeks. ESPN, I'm waiting for your call. Um, but because I don't just got baseball knowledge, I got football knowledge as well. So feel free to give me a call. I can do both areas. Um, and the other one that I'm going to call out is the Max Meyer for Miami. I think with the way Miami's been playing, they've been really starting to get hot. And Max Meyer being out for the rest of the season with a hip injury is pretty gruesome for them, especially because I know they weren't really in like the picture yet, but they were starting to make some waves and make some things a little bit more competitive as we got to the wild card. Bill, what do you think?
Yep, yep, yep. No, I 100% agree with both of those. With the exception of ESPN giving you a call.
Okay. I know. Look, I will still do ATL even if ESPN calls me.
ATL,
ATD, ATD, ATD.
ACL, ATL, ATD, ready,
I
break.
will still do ATD every weekend, even if ESPN calls me. I'll make it a point to do this
Okay,
show.
that's fair enough.
Once again, we want to thank our sponsors, giving them a quick shout out. Handles Ice Cream down there in SoCal, but you can find them in locations all across the country. The pizza store in OC, local, primarily in Southern California, Ocean County. But the pizza down there is, from what I hear, spectacular. And the local tap room is unfreaking believable.
That's right.
Great number of beers on tap. So definitely go check out our sponsors, give them the love and support that they give us so we can do what we love to do every Saturday morning, which is bringing you the best baseball knowledge. Let's look at the leaderboards real quick. So we had it looks lower based on the number from last week to this week, but want to just give a call out that we recorded this on Sunday, so we're only 6 days separation between the two numbers. If we add that seventh day, we're right on track with where we should be. When we look at the leaderboard on the stolen base count side, though, 1,915 stolen bases. Jose Caballero still riding strong, but we got two new additions to the top five in Chandler Simpson for the Rays and Bobby Witt Jr. for the Royals. Bill, I ask you the question every week. I'll ask it again. Are we going to break the number?
Yeah, yeah, I think we will. I think we will. It'll be really, really close, but it will be determined upon how many people, like we mentioned, we just had 10 teams out of 15 are vying for playoff spots right now. So it'll be interesting to see how you'll see those numbers go up because of that.
100%. I couldn't agree more with you. Let's look at the home run leaderboard because Cal Riley keeps doing amazing things at the plate. This guy has been unfreaking stoppable. When he gets up to bat, he's hitting a home
Unstoppable.
run. It's like he hit two, I think, last night, like on the fourth.
Yep.
Bill's talking about pitching around them. The problem is that the Mariners are still, you still got a 6% chance of beating the Mariners, even when he hits a home run. So you can't always just pitch around him. But man, this guy is unfreaking real. He is just doing amazing things. He revitalized his career this year at the plate. Not at the catching position as much, but at the plate, definitely. Um, Aaron Judge 32, Shohei with 30, Eugene Suarez with 28, and Kyle Schwarber with 26. 188 home runs scored between Sunday and today. So we're at just under 3,000 home runs. Bill, same question. We breaking 54 and losing to 58, or are we going to be just
Yes.
shy of 54?
No, breaking 54, losing to 58. And there's one other thing, Sam, that we should probably mention that the all-time home runs record prior to the All-Star game is 38, set by Mr. Ken Griffey Jr. And so Cal Riley actually has a shot to put himself in the record books by having 39 home runs before the All-Star break.
Well, that'll be the one record he gets because he's not breaking the season breaking record of 74 home runs in the season. Let's just
Hmm, maybe
put a
not.
stamp on that.
Maybe not.
Maybe he'll break the 60 mark. He'll definitely, I think he might break Aaron Judge's single season home run record with the way he's hitting, but it's definitely not breaking the all time single season home run record
Yeah,
held
yeah.
by, as Bill likes to call him, Mr. Steroid Barry Bonds.
Yep, yep, exactly.
We talked about this on ITL on Thursday, but we feel it's very important to bring this up. Clayton Kershaw has cemented himself in the record books as Mr. 3000. Bill, he's your boy. I'm going to let you take it from here.
Well, so a couple things about this. One, Clayton was incredibly nervous. You could tell it. And he was incredibly nervous. But this may not be something that we see a whole heck of a lot of. He's only the fourth player in Major League history to be a left-hander to do this, behind Randy Johnson, Steve Carlton, and CC Sabathia. He's number 20 on this all-time list as far as being able to get to 3,000. Uh, Hats off to him. He's had a great career. It's probably not over. I mean, he'll pitch this season, and then the Dodgers may sign him to another 1 year deal. I think what ends up happening with him at this point is he signs a bunch of 1 year deals until he's done with baseball. But to get to 3,000 is absolutely amazing. I watched the game. Samuel, appreciate this. We're supposed to go to a thing called the Pageant of the Masters, which is, you can look it up. It's in Laguna Beach. It's all kinds of art stuff. And literally, it's a show. And literally, I was watching the game, commentating on X, and then had to get over the pageant so I wasn't late. And I put my phone up and I was watching Mikey Blues feed as I'm watching this art thing, because I'm gonna make this happen. And then once it happened, Amber's like, "Can we turn it off?" And I'm like, "Nope, not yet. Nope, not yet." Um, so I love this, and I love the fact that Clayton did this. Congratulations, Mr. Clayton Edward Kershaw. You made it happen. You've had a very, very good career. I will say that if there was not a injury situation for him over his career, we might be talking about Mr. 3,500. But
Mhm.
you know, great, great career. And I don't care if this guy were a Giant, a Dodger, an Astro, whoever. This is an amazing feat.
Yeah,
So
no, I couldn't agree with you more. To hit 3,000 strikeouts in your career as a pitcher is a miraculous feat. And with what he's had to deal with in injuries, adversity, the teams that the up and downness of the Dodgers early in his career to seeing where the Dodgers are now as, a cemented legacy over the last 10 years of being one of the most dominant forces in baseball during the regular season. He, his postseason career, that's another story. But from a regular season career, you can't take anything away from what this guy has done and what he's put out there on the field. Hats off to you. I tip my hat to you. Um, yeah, I agree with you. Doesn't matter the team he's on.
so
For any player to hit 3,000 strikeouts as a pitcher, you
Sam,
you deserve all your roses.
I'm going to ask you a question. There's only two other active pitchers that have more than 3,000 strikeouts. Do you happen to know who they are?
I mean, one's on my team and he's playing like trash right now.
One is on your
That
team,
who's the
Mr. Kate
who's the other
Upton,
one?
yes. Mr. Kate Upton and Max Scherzer.
Oh, okay. Two. Okay. Well, Scherzer should have retired 3 years ago, so that's redundant. Mister Two Color Eyes over there. Um,
Yeah. No, congratulations, Clayton. Congratulations to how the Dodgers handled it. Congratulations to how the White Sox handled it. The Sam, I don't know if you watched any of that game, but the White Sox were going up there swinging. They were not taking pitches. They were not going deep in the count because ain't nobody wanted to be that 3,000 strikeout.
No,
And
absolutely not. And you never want to be a guy that gives up a record breaker
no, you
because
don't.
now you go down in the history books as being the guy that gave it up.
Yep,
And that's
yep,
almost worse.
yep, 100%.
So, again, kudos. Happy to you, Clayton. Look forward to hopefully, seeing you finish your career off in the next year or two, sailing off into the sunset, enjoying your time with your family. Um, I think, again, he'll do this year, he'll do next year, but I think after next year, I don't think he is the type of player that's going to just keep dragging it on to hit a goal. I think he has hit the goal he wanted to hit and is looking more at what life could look like on the outside.
I agree.
And I think he's starting to have those conversations with players in similar positions that have done that and said, "What's it been like?" So I think we're going to see Clayton for the rest of this year and next year, but I think after next year, it'll be time for him to hang the glove up. He's got his two World Series. He can go in knowing he's a first ballot Hall of Famer and enjoy his time. Come
Yeah,
back, be a coach, be a mentor, work with the youngest
100%.
guys and help them get ready for it. So this is a topic I really wanted to talk about, and Bill agreed with me on it because these guys have just been way too sensitive. We are seeing some, and we're going to talk about this real quick as we get ready to wrap the show up. But are umpires just way too sensitive right now? Like, I feel like we've seen this all year where, like, they say something like, it looks like you're having a bad day and getting ejected. Or a player goes to adjust his helmet, and, like, maybe taps it to adjust it. Because, again, these guys got, stickiness on their bats, so their hands might stick. So, and getting tossed. Do umpires need to be tougher? Do they need to, like, grow a spine?
Well, so there's two sides to this coin. The players need to be more respectful in the sense that they need to watch what they say. Go to the old 80s movie Bull Durham, right? And what Crash Davis calls the umpire and what he says that was a bad call, right? I mean, when some of these guys are mic'd up, some of the language that they use is awful. And in a real world sense, if you're hanging out at a dinner and somebody, F you, F this, whatever, you might go to blows. So the umpires do a good job of taking it. The flip side to this coin is umpires should never insert themselves into a game. They should never insert themselves into any situation. They're there to make calls to make the game fair. That's it. That is it. So, yes, are the umpires being a little too sensitive? Are the umpires trying now? A lot of these umpires, I mean, I think the starting pay for the umpires is someplace around 200. And then, the max, once you're tenured, once you're everything, I looked up online, I think some of them make just over 500. But think about this, $200,000 is a good wage anywhere in the country. It's a good wage. Now, I'm not going to buy a penthouse in New York on that, but it's a good wage. So they need to stop inserting themselves in the game. They just need to call things fair,
Yeah.
and they need to not be so sensitive when players call them out for bad calls.
Yeah, and the one picture that I don't have up here, if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, if you're listening to this on Bleacher Brothers Radio, get over to YouTube, watch us on YouTube, see everything that we post. So this way Bill and I don't have to talk about every single picture that we post up here because it gets tedious and time consuming. Um is the game where the umpire in the against the Red Sox where he actually came out from behind the plate, walked past
To
home
Walker
plate
Bueller.
to Walker Bueller and
Mhm.
instigated the conversation and then threw Walker Bueller out. Again, and I think it goes exactly to your point. You are there to call balls and strikes and make the game fair. And I agree with you. Flip side of the coin, players need to watch what they say. Umpires get a lot of heat for a lot of stuff. And yeah, do they make wrong calls? Absolutely. If players want to go to a fully automated system where you can't dispute anything because it's all being digitally done,
Usually done.
we could, I mean, that could be a possibility, but you're not going to be happy about some of those outcomes. And that's
Yeah,
just the way it's going to be. But that's what makes baseball great. There's the human factor involved. And,
correct,
but I
correct.
agree with you that to the point that they need to put a little bit thicker skin on. These
Mhm.
guys are putting their heart and soul out. These players are putting their heart and soul out there. They're doing everything they can to win games. And when
Right,
umpires insert themselves into games to a point where you're losing, that is not fair.
right.
That is where they have a legitimate gripe, and where I think
You
MLB and the association need to start looking at this with a finer tooth comb.
you just need to be super careful though. You just need to be super careful because these guys are competing at the highest level and they're geeked up because they are competitors, but umpires are also human and they're men. If you attack somebody's integrity, I mean, we saw this a week and a half ago where a fan started heckling Ketel Marte and got personal. It should never be that way. Never
No,
be that way.
100%. You shouldn't get personal with them. I completely agree with you. But if you're
Right.
an umpire and you're making serious bad calls and you're impacting the decision of how a game could go, that's where I have a problem.
Now, you do have a thing up here that says umpires should never follow players. That I 1000% agree with. An umpire should never, on their social media, should never, as they're employed by the MLB, follow individual players.
Yep.
Never, never, ever, 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 never.
No, you shouldn't. There needs to be separation of church and state.
Hmm.
You want to
Yep,
follow a player on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, X now, whatever you want to call it. Take yourself out of baseball, or let MLB know you can't ump games against that specific team due to a personal
yep,
preference. But that, yeah, I have
yep.
a lot of gripes with umpires this year, ATD fans, if you couldn't tell, because they have just been terrible.
Yeah.
But as we wrap the show up, Bill, take me through your schedule for this week.
American League with Ashley obviously is on Monday. Ashley, we always talk about the Tigers. We talk about what's going on around the league. We'll talk about the home run derby. Tuesday, Harmony's jumping back in action. Wednesday, we're going to do a way back Wednesday on Wednesday. I've got a couple of great episodes from last year or the year before. And so we're going to bump one of those out just, to take you way back and see how well that episode aged. And then Thursday is Unraveling Baseball with Mike from Heads Up Sports Cards. And Friday is Can of Corn. Good stuff.
Yes, it
Uh,
is.
in the leagues, 9 a.m. Tuesday and Thursday. That is going to be changing next month in what time we actually do that. We'll be doing a Sports Talk Fan Involved on Thursday night with TFR. And then Sunday, we've got a recap with Big Dave and Mikey, a Dodger fan and a Astro fan. After what happened in the game yesterday, I'm sure Dave will have a lot to say.
I can only imagine
So,
because Dave always has a lot to say.
yep.
We have a great card break coming up this Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. We're going back to 2023, doing the 2023 Allen and Ginter Hobby Box. Um, Allen Ginter is personally one of my favorite products that Topps puts out. The artwork is fantastic, gives you a matte feel, real classic look. Um, I it's like artwork to me with Allen and Ginter. That's what those types of cards are like. And then we're throwing a little holiday spirit into this one. These holiday boxes by Topps come out usually around the Christmas New Year's time. So we're going to be doing a 2023 Topps Holiday Mega Box, which will be fun. Um, if I remember correctly, it's the last year that Otani was in an Angels jersey, right? No,
Um,
second to last year.
yes, correct, correct. Yes, last year, correct.
Okay. Two great boxes to get your collection started with, or if you're an avid collector, two great boxes to get some great cards and add into your collection. So make sure you head to topfanrivalry.com, check out the available teams, and get them signed up quickly because these teams are going to go and they are going to go fast. Bill, as we wrap up the show, once again, want to thank our sponsors, Handel's Ice Cream in SoCal, but you can find locations all across the country. The pizza store run by OC Local down there in Orange County, and the OC Local tap room, where you can go and get all of your favorite beers and just have a good time eating, watching baseball,
They got
relaxing.
great food over there. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with it. But we want to thank you always for joining. Make sure you are checking out topfanrivalry.com for new articles, podcasts, merch. Join the 27 Outs Card Club or the T-shirt club if you are not a part of it. Join us for the exclusive member events that Bill puts on every month for uh, locker room members. If you are not a member of topfanrivalry.com, go there, sign up, use the code ATD in all capital letters to get 10% off your sign up cost. And join us every January for TFR Fan Fest, where you get the opportunity to meet us, and all the regulars that run the show and put on some of the best sports episodes out there. Bill, any final comments for the fans out there?
Not at all. Go fight, win. Enjoy your weekend. Talk to you
Yes,
soon,
enjoy
everybody.
the rest of your weekend. We will talk to you next week, and we will see you on the field.